Hello everyone, this is Marty Zhu. I am the VP of Interpreter Success and Marketing at Cymo.io. Now today in this video I'm going to show you what we have done to the latest version of Cymo Note, which is Cymo Note version 3.5.7. We added an advanced feature for our popular glossary feature, and I'm going to go over what you can do with this new feature added. Furthermore, all of these features that does not utilize the voice recognition aspect of Cymo Note are all free to use as productivity software as long as you have a Cymo account. Today, we're going to talk about how Cymo Note can help you throughout the entire process of preparing and interpreting and closing out a particular interpretation engagement. We're going to talk about how you can import a glossary into Cymo Note, how you can compile a new glossary on the fly, the glossary sync function that will allow you to move between different devices either during the preparation phase or during live interpretation so you can smoothly transition from one workplace to the next. We're also going to talk about how you can take the materials that are already shared with you and bring it into Cymo Note so that you can take full advantage of that last-minute script that might be shared with you and also have that cross-reference against the glossary that you have already built. Lastly, we're going to share how you can take the intelligence that you have already compiled with Cymo Note through the glossary feature and export it for safekeeping. So, breaking it down into steps, we're going to talk about the functions that we added here in the glossary, and that is how to import an existing spreadsheet into Cymo Note. We're also going to talk about how you can live add the terms by using the automatic recognition as well as the enter text search bar here to create your glossary from scratch when you're preparing using Cymo Note. We're also going to go over how to add the terms as you go along live in the particular conference. And we're also going to talk about what is this cloud sync function that you can leverage when you're moving between devices. And lastly, we're going to talk about how to take your hard-earned glossary, your intellectual property, and export it for safekeeping. So let's go over it. Let's say, first of all, in the first scenario, that I already have a spreadsheet available, and I would like to import it into Cymo Note in preparation for this new conference on, let's say, abandoned mine methane. And you can see that I have this particular Excel file in my downloads folder. And all I need to do is go into Glossary, click Import, and select this particular glossary. You can see this is an xlsx file, which is the common Excel format. Open, and you can see all the terms have been added. Now, granted, this is a very short list, and I have already kind of cleaned up the first row of the table. There's a few things to note. Is first of all, in the Excel spreadsheet, if you have a first row saying, for example, in my case, English and Chinese, it's going to come in too. And you can just click this button to delete that first row or edit anything around here. That's the first thing. The second thing is that this import function only imports the first sheet. And let me show you what I mean. I'm going to open my energy policy spreadsheet online. You can see down here I have general, bio, emissions metrics, technology, and a whole bunch of other things. What this basically will do in Cymo Note when you're trying to import from an Excel spreadsheet with multiple tabs is that it will only import for the first one. So make sure you remember that. Okay, now let's assume that I have this imported and everything will be recognized. Let's see, I have in here permeability, so it should be able to recognize since I have the source from external microphone. I'm actually going to change my settings a little bit so that it will source from my microphone. The permeability of the membrane is an important factor of its design. And you can see that this one is recognized here. And that's how you can import your existing spreadsheet into Cymo Note. Now, let's look at how you can populate the glossary by using information recognized by Cymo Note. Let's clear my glossary just for demonstration. So I have no terms here. And I want to read the materials, just as I did earlier, and add this. All I need to do is double-click it, and you can see that we have the machine translation here, and you can just start it to automatically add it to the glossary. Or you can type it here, say membrane, and click enter. And you can see I get the machine translation here, and you can start to add it to the glossary. And here I can edit it if this is not exactly colloquially correct for that particular domain. Okay, now let's just say you have imported your Excel spreadsheet and you have already created quite a few terms by scratch. And normally when you're interpreting, the source of the sound will be from the remote conference, and you can see the terms being recognized into Cymo Note. And that is the same way that you will add terms into the glossary, by highlighting it or double-clicking it and starring it. Okay, now let us go over the newest sync function and what it can do for you. Let's just say that I have, I'm going to import a different glossary. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to import the same mining glossary. You can see it's here. And as I'm working, I needed to switch devices. Say that I'm interpreting inside the booth on site, and then suddenly the client came and asked if I can interpret on stage consecutively or in an adjacent room consecutively, and it's on the same topic. So what am I going to do? Am I going to take my laptop with me? You don't need to. Say, for example, if you have Cymo Note on your laptop and on an iPad, you can cloud sync the terminology you have already built on your laptop and download it into your iPad. And the way to do this is the cloud sync. Now, you can see that in the cloud glossary saved in the cloud, I already have some terms saved, and this could be from the previous time I served this client or from another conference on the same topic. Now, if this terminology sheet in the cloud is not related to what I need to do now, I can override it. And this is the arrow pointing to the right, meaning that I'm going to take the local glossary and replace the one in the cloud. Now, let's just say that you're opening this up on an iPad. And in this case, if on your iPad you have some existing glossary saved locally, but you want to pull down the one that you just saved into the cloud, you use this button, which is an arrow pointing to the left, which means that I'm going to take everything from here and put it in here. Now there's the third scenario, is I can merge local and cloud. And what that is going to do is I'm going to take the local glossary and add it or prefix it to the top of this cloud glossary. So let's see what that does. So once I say merge, you can see that I have everything in the cloud that is also in here locally. And all of this is also in the cloud as well. So that is how you do it. Now, I have saved the best feature for last. And as you know, that many a times when we prepare for a conference, we have materials from our clients. And up to this point, I personally have been looking at those materials and dictating it or reading it into Cymo Note. Now, of course, I think there are benefits to reading the materials. It kind of reinforces the sound in your brain. But if you're on a time crunch and you need to quickly compile your glossary from the materials that your client sent you, we have you covered. And this is what you can do. Our newest feature allows you to take a generic Microsoft Office file, and that includes the Word and PowerPoint file, and drag it into Cymo Note's interface. And this is how you do it. I have a file here called Agricultural Practices in the United States. And once I drag the file on top of the Cymo Note interface, you'll see the interface change. And once I release my mouse, all the information in there, just the text, is imported into Cymo Note. And from here, I can compile my terminology from here. All right, lastly, let's just say we finished the conference and you worked hard to prepare this terminology sheet. And this is very important to you. This is your intellectual property. And we encourage interpreters to always keep a copy locally. So what you can do in this case is very simple, is to just click this export button. And on a Mac, all it asks of you is to enter a name for this particular file. And let's just say I'm just going to enter today's term, so it'll help me remember which conference. And I'm going to click confirm. And you can see that this is saved into my saved folder, download folder. And you can see terms for November 9th, 2023, xlsx. Okay, everyone, and that is how you use the newest glossary function in Cymo Note version 3.5.7. Thank you very much for all of your support over the years, and we look forward to hearing your feedback. And I just wanted to say that it is exactly your feedback that helps us improve and to build features and functions like this. So thank you again, and take care, and see you in the next conference.